Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Director of the SEPs, youth and students, teachers and principals from Southeast Asia and beyond, officials from the SEPs, GCED-SEP trainers, and other distinguished participants, a very warm welcome and greetings to everyone. This webinar is being brought to you by Group 1 of the GCED-SEP Trainers Training Program 2026 being organized by SEPs GCED Cooperation Center in Thailand with support from APSIO. I would like to now take a few seconds to read out the name list of the GCED-SEP trainers in Group 1. We have Mr. Denny from Brunei, Mr. Kakada from Cambodia, Mr. August from Indonesia, Ms. Kampeng from Laos, Mr. Muhammad from Malaysia, Ms. Cherry from the Philippines, Ms. Natira from Thailand, Mr. Isara from Thailand, Dr. Charles from Thailand, Dr. Michai from Thailand, and myself, Gemma from the Kingdom of Bhutan. It's so good to see all our participants, and once again, a very warm greetings to the webinar. So before we actually start with the webinar, let's check the energy in the room. So for that, let's begin with something which is very simple. I would like to request all our distinguished participants to choose an emoji based on how you are feeling right now. Mook, next slide, please. Kindly choose an emoji based on how you are feeling right now. You can show it through the virtual reactions or maybe put it in the chat box, or maybe you can draw it on a piece of paper and even show it to the camera. All right. I see a lot of emojis already. A lot of heart signs, a lot of haha signs, and then a lot of thumbs up and many other reactions. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's so wonderful to see a lot of good reactions. Well, it's a very good reminder to all of us that although we might all be attending the same session or although we might all be in the same room, we all don't come with same feelings and experiences. With this, I would like to invite two of our participants, perhaps one from the Philippines and one from Bhutan, to briefly share what you chose and why you chose that. So let's start with participants from the Philippines. Anyone from the Philippines, you can raise your hand and share what you chose and why you chose that very briefly. May we have someone from the Philippines? Is there anyone who raised their hands? All right, we have one. Jake, you can show yourself and then you can talk what you chose and why you chose that. Hello, Jake. Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes, I can hear.
Yes,
So
speak.
my chosen emoji is happy because I am given the opportunity to join you as today, and um yeah, I choose the happy.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very interesting to know you have chosen her. Thank you for sharing, Jake. Now, can we have someone from Bhutan share what you choose and why you choose that? Anyone from Bhutan? Please raise your hand or you can speak directly. Anyone? Is there anyone from Bhutan? We can have any participant, be it a teacher or a student, any participant from Bhutan, to briefly share what you choose. Anyone? If there isn't anyone from Bhutan, then can we have someone from Cambodia? Can we have someone from Cambodia? Or any other countries if you're interested to share what you choose and why you choose that. Not necessarily me picking the country. If you're interested, you can just raise your hand and share what you choose and why you choose that. Do we have anyone raising their hands? Okay, GDSC, Gino. I can see you raise your hand. You can speak.
Good day, everyone. I'm Gino from John Dewey School for Children. So the emoji that I picked is the curious emoji because I'm ready to learn and I'm curious to see what's ready for us here today. Thank you.
Mhm. So interesting to know as well. You're so curious. So thank you for sharing, Jeno. All right, now can we now move on to the next part? We can hear remarks from the Center Director of the SEM-EOSEPs. That's what we have in the next.
A very good afternoon to everyone. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to today's GCED-SEP webinar on the topic of youth leading youth, promoting global citizenship, positive values, and mental well-being. May I also extend a very warm welcome to our speakers, GCED-SEP trainers and facilitators, teachers, partners, and especially our young students who joining this webinar from across Southeast Asia and beyond. There are almost 300 of you from 8 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, young people are not only the leaders of tomorrow, you are also leaders of today. Every day, through your choice, your words, and your actions, and even your posts on social media, you have the power to influence your friends, your communities, sometimes your family, and the world around you as well. This is why the theme of today's webinar is so important. Being a global citizen is not only about understanding what is happening in the world, it is also about caring for others, respecting differences, making responsible choices, and taking positive action. Today, we are pleased to learn from your peers, Siri, Sai, and Natalie, through their stories and experiences that they will share afterwards. We hope we will reflect on the values that guide our everyday decisions and discover simple ways to support our own well-being and positively influence others. This webinar also gives us an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the important role of young people following International Youth Day and ASEAN Youth Day this month. May I also congratulate the GCED-SEP Trainers Training Group 1 for organizing today's webinar. I would like to encourage each of you to participate actively, listen openly, and take away at least one meaningful idea or action that you can apply after today's session. Thank you for joining us. I wish I would be with you live, but my apologies that by this time I will be traveling. So I would like to send this message to all of you and wish all a meaningful and inspiring conversation. Thank you very much, and please enjoy this webinar.
All right, now to
A
move
very
on.
good afternoon.
All right, now to move on. If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be? Imagine that you have the superpower to change one thing in the world. It could be anything that's happening in your school, in your community, in your country, or even at the global level, and that is really concerning you, and you would like to change that. So imagine that you have the superpower and you want to change that thing. So what would it be? We want you to put your answers by scanning the QR code that's given on the screen if you have your mobile phones with you right now. And the challenge here is that you can give us your answers in 1 to 3 words, maximum of 3 words, not exceeding that. Or else, if you don't have any gadgets with you right now, then you can maybe go to your search engine, Google or Chrome, and then type minty.com and then use the code being provided there. All right. I see a lot of answers coming up. No wars between countries, freedom, no wars, inequality, and world hunger, improve our attitudes towards living beings. Interesting. education poverty, peace, love and inclusivity, to end world hunger, corruption, no hunger, less indifference, no natural disaster, and corruption, communication, global education. You can also put your answers in the chat boxes. All right, interesting. It's so good to know a lot of good answers coming up. Climate change, empowerment, waste problems, remove poverty, no bullying, happiness, pollution, freedom, equality, and also racial discrimination, global mental health and well-being, lack of equal access to quality education, gender equality, peace, better healthcare, close the gap between rich and poor. All right. Thank you everyone for participating. Now look at the range of the issues that we have here. All of these issues are not small, yet many of the people thinking about and working on these issues are young people just like you. So I would like to thank all our participants for participating in this Mentimeter. All right, now Mook, next slide please. Okay, now comes the display of the artwork or the virtual background and the group photo shoot. During the registration for the webinar, you might have submitted an artwork which you are using right now as your virtual background, right? So the team is pleased to announce that the top three best artworks will be selected and they will be given prizes. So the winners will be contacted later. Now, Mook, can you stop sharing the screen? We would like to take group photos. So I would like to request all our distinguished participants to kindly pose for the group photo shoot. And Mook, kindly let me know when you're done.
Okay, we gonna have first photo. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. There are many participants, so I will move to another page. 1, 2, 3, smile. Wow, that's a lot of people. Okay, wait for it. I need another shot. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for turning on your camera and posing for the photo. Now, can you start sharing the screen? Now let's pause for a few seconds and then reflect just what we did. In just about like 10 minutes, you have shared how you feel, what you care about, and what you would like to change. And all of these three things are connected to leadership. Leadership doesn't always begin with title, meaning leadership is not always packed with title, position, or the big project that someone is handling. Sometimes it just begins with simply noticing a problem, caring about it, and then deciding to do something to resolve that issue. Now, let's explore more about leadership with Miss Cherry from the Philippines.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Mabuhay. I'm Chef from the Philippines, and I'm very happy to be with all of you today as we begin the first part of our webinar on leadership. And because our webinar is called Youth Leading Youth, I want to begin with a very simple idea. Leadership can begin before the title. But is that really true? When we hear the word leader, we often imagine someone important, someone with a position, authority, or influence. So instead of me telling you what leadership means, let's discover it together. Next slide, please. Our first activity is a quick Mentimeter word cloud. So everyone, kindly get your phone and scan the QR code on the screen and answer this question. When you hear the word leader, who is the first person who comes to your mind? Again, When you hear the word leader, who is the first person who comes to mind? It can be anyone, a national or a global leader, someone in your community, your school, your family, or someone you admire. Go ahead and let's see your answers. Ruler of a country, boss, self, my late mother, interesting, president of the country, my principal. Great. All of us, group boy. Okay. Wow, look at our word cloud. Interesting. We have different people in mind when we think about leadership. Your father, no, my favorite teacher, Ramon Magsaysay. Wow. Okay. Now think about the person you entered. Why did that person come to mind? Maybe because that person influences others. Maybe they inspire people. Maybe they make decisions. Maybe they help, they guide, they serve, or they speak up. But here's something I want you to think about. Most of the people we immediately recognize as leaders tend to be visible. Many of them have positions or titles. So my question is, can someone lead without one? Next slide, please. Look at the words on your screen. Authority, popularity, title, age. The slide asks us challenging question. Can you lead without a title? Do you need authority before you can lead? Do you need to be popular? Do you need a title? Do you need to reach a certain age? Okay, so let's not answer that yet. Instead, let's test the idea using 4 situations that might actually happen in everyday life. Okay, so and next slide. This is time for our second Mentimeter activity. Okay, so scan the QR code and look at these 4 situations. A student comforts a classmate. Someone picks up litter after lunch. A teenager starts a kindness campaign. Or a friend stands up against bullying. The question is, who is showing leadership? Remember, you can choose more than one answer. So go ahead and vote. Okay, so for A, we have 11 responses, B 11, C 21, D 27. Okay. How about the others? You can use our chat box for your answers. Okay, 1, 1, 1. Okay, from our chat box, 2. Okay. Let's look at the results. Which one was easiest to recognize as leadership? Perhaps for others, starting a kindness campaign because someone is clearly taking initiative. Or maybe for others, standing up against bullying because it requires courage. But what about picking up litter? What about simply comforting a classmate? Are those really leadership too? Okay, so let's find out the answer. Next slide, please. So here is the answer. All 4 show leadership. And this is where I want us to expand our understanding of what leadership means. The slide tells us leadership is not only directing people. Leadership is visible in what we choose to do. It is choosing to make a positive difference. Think about the student who picks up litter. Nobody gave that student a title. Nobody said, you are now the official leader of picking up litter. The student simply saw something that needed to be done and acted. How about comforting a classmate? You are not giving orders. You are not standing in front of a group, but you notice that someone needs support and you choose to care. That is also a form of leadership. Sometimes leadership means taking initiative. Sometimes it means speaking up. Sometimes it means helping. It means listening. Sometimes it means caring. And sometimes leadership simply means choosing to do what is right. Next slide, please. So let's make this quick. You can answer out loud wherever you are or type your answer in the chat. Do you have to wait until you're 18 before you can lead? Okay, may I see your hand? No.
No.
Do you need to be class president? Okay, no, your answers. Mostly or all of the answers are no. Do you need hundreds of followers? Exactly. The three questions on our slide challenge the idea that leadership depends on age, position, or popularity. So if leadership does not begin with your age, your title, or your number of followers, where does leadership begin? Next slide, please. Here is the most important message I want you to remember from this part of our webinar. Leadership begins when you notice that something needs to be done and you choose to act. Notice the two important ideas there. You notice and then you act. You notice someone sitting alone and you choose to include them. You notice a friend struggling and you choose to listen. You see someone being bullied and you choose not to remain silent. You notice misinformation or hurtful content online and you choose not to share it. You notice a problem in your school or community, and instead of saying, someone should do something, you ask, what can I do? That is where leadership begins. Not with a title, but with a choice. Next slide. But maybe you're thinking, share those are very small actions. Can they really make a difference? Absolutely. Because as our slide says, every big change begins somewhere. And what we do locally can contribute to change globally. So think about this. You choose to be kind to one person. That helps create a more caring school. A caring school contributes to a stronger community. Communities shape our countries, and our countries are connected to one another across Southeast Asia and the world. When you reduce waste, your action connects to caring for our environment. When you stand against bullying, your action contributes to a culture of respect and inclusion. When you listen to someone who is struggling, you help create a community where people feel supported. When you use social media responsibly, you contribute to a healthier digital spaces. So never underestimate a positive action just because it looks small. Small actions can travel far. Next slide. Now, let's see if we can summarize everything we have discovered. I'll ask the questions and then you give me the answers. Who can be a leader? May I see your answers? Who can be a leader? Hunsu said anyone. Okay. Shaira says anyone. You can. Okay. Yes, you can. And where can leadership happen? Anywhere, anywhere. Yes, that's correct. Anywhere. And when can you start? I can see your answers. Okay. So you can start now. Exactly. You can anywhere now. Not someday, not when you turn 18, not when you become class president, not when you have hundreds or thousands of followers. And you can start now. Next slide, please. And now I want to leave you with one final question. Look at the question on your screen. What happens when we realize that our actions affect people and communities beyond ourselves? Think about that for a moment. What happens when we realize that our actions affect people and communities beyond ourselves? Leadership may begin with me, but it doesn't have to end with me. My choices affect other people, our choices affect our communities, and the choices we make in our communities can have an impact beyond our borders. That is where leadership connects with global citizenship. And that is the perfect questions to take us into the next part of our webinar. And to help us discover what global citizenship means and how young people like you can live it out, it is my pleasure to turn the virtual floor over to Dini from Brunei Darussalam. Dini, the virtual floor is yours.
Hello. Hi. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Cherry, for part number 1. So I'm going to continue with part number 2, which is regarding global citizenship. So before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Hamdini Haji Abdul Qadir. I'm from Brunei. I would like to do some welcoming to everyone who is joining today. So, Sawadika from Thailand, Puzo Zang Pola from Bhutan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it perfectly. Manggadang Arau from Philippines. Swatsi from Cambodia. Selamat petang for Malaysia and from Indonesia and Brunei. Mingalaba from Myanmar, and also Sabaiti from Laos. Yeah. So it's a very wonderful to see all of us from different countries and from different culture coming together in one virtual space today. So our topic is something that connects us, all of us, no matter where we are from. So mine is about global citizenship. So when we hear the word citizen, we often think about belonging to a particular country. But today, I would like us to think beyond borders. What does it mean to become a global citizen? Does it mean that we need to travel around the world? Or does it mean that we need to speak many languages? Or does it mean something much simple, something that we can practice every day? So let's find out together. So Mook, can you change to the second slide? All right. So I would like you to scan the Mentimeter. So the question is, as a leader, please describe yourself. What kinds of leader you want to become? All right. So use the Mentimeter or the QR code provided on the screen. And once you join in, you will be able to see the specific question. Describe yourself as a leader in a few words. All right. So there is no single correct answer. but think about the kind of leader you want to become. So I can see there is a lot of answer already provided by all of you. All right, so I can see, yeah, some of you say transforming leaders, you want to become a cool one. Yeah, a good leader, a very triumphant one, kind and also very honest, responsible, servant leader. Yeah, very inspiring leader, honest, someone that makes a difference, a responsible one, the best one, of course, right? And to be honest, and I want to become kind of resilient. Very good. It's a very good answer. There is no specific correct answer for the what you want to become. And I can see also some of you also writing down from the group chat. Okay, you want to become responsible, a brave one. All right, thank you. Which one? Perma Corden said to become honest. Yeah, I also see there is a Rohit. Let me see. Rohit Sunar said being honest. Yeah, a responsible one and very honest one. All right. Okay, thank you very much for your responses. So it's a very insightful to see all of you wants to be a positive leader. Of course, you want to become a positive leader, right? All right. Okay, thank you very much for your answers. What I find interesting is although that we are joining from different countries, many of our answers are almost similar, right? We may speak different languages. We may have different traditions. We may also celebrate different festivals. All right. So we have different food, beliefs, and ways of life. But when we talk about good leaderships and global citizenship, we often come back to be the same values. All right, which is kindness, respect, responsibility, and also inclusion. And that brings us to the main message of today's session. All right, so thank you very much for your responses. So can you go to the next slide? All right, next slide, please. All right, so
it seems we lost Dini. Shall we have a look at the screen for his key message on what is global citizenship? Dini said, although we may be different, we all share hopes, dreams, and responsibilities. A small act of kindness can make a positive impact on the world. When we respect others as well as their beliefs and cultures, we can live together in harmony. And if we practice all three of these, we can truly call ourselves global citizens. Nice summary, Dini. We're not sure if Dini is back, but we can move on to the next slide. Next slide.
Thank you, Abigail. So now it's time for us to welcome one of our young speakers from Laos, Mr. Sirisai Wongsampan, and he will talk about his topic today about youth leading youth, promoting global citizenship, positive value, and mental well-being. So please raise your hand to welcome Mr. Sirisai Wongsampan from Laos.
Am I audible? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Thank you.
First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sirisai Wongsampan, or you can call me Kino. I'm from Laos, and currently I'm a Global Partnership for Education youth leader. And also I'm currently about to graduate university next month. And I'm really excited to be here today. And today I will be speaking about positive values and mental well-being. And actually, I'm not gonna give you guys a lecture, but I'm mostly gonna share my personal story and personal journey along the way. So actually, this is a picture of me 8 years ago. That was me preparing to go on a stage to become an MC for my school Teachers' Day event. During that time, I was very scared. I was thinking, I'm afraid of making mistakes. What would the teacher, what would my friends think of me? I was not very confident, but I chose to volunteer to go up the stage that day because I want to step out of my comfort zone and I wanted to improve myself. So that's the beginning of my journey. So that's why I chose this picture as my introduction. And here is my journey along the way, my personal growth. So after that experience, it still doesn't give me confidence. So I try to join and lots of opportunities and lots of volunteering experience as much as I can because I want to strive to improve myself. So here's a picture of me joining public speaking competition. I also volunteer as an English tutor to teach children in the community for free. I also volunteer as a student counselor to give counseling advices for high school students about what would they continue after they graduate. I also volunteer as environmental education advocate and lots of volunteering opportunities. So I did lots of things because I believe that every experience is an opportunity for me to challenge myself and to strive to become better. And next slide, please. So that is when I discovered self-esteem. The concept of self-esteem is just changing your mindset from saying I can't to saying I can, because it's about recognizing your own worth and believing that you are valuable. And this feeling can help us become more emotionally stable, build great self-confidence, and have the courage to try new things. Next slide, please. Self-esteem influence how we think, how we feel, how we act, and it can strengthen our motivation, confidence, and willingness to face new challenges. Next slide. So from my experience, I have some key suggestions to improve our self-esteem is being your best friend. You are what you matter most. So select the right people to spend time with. Spend time doing things that you're good at and enjoy. Remind yourself of your abilities and achievement. Yeah, sometimes you always think about the bad things that we forgot about to think about the good stuff that we achieve. Be true to yourself, do the right thing, and just believe in yourself. Even though others don't believe in you, you are what matters most. So just believe in yourself and be confident and just do what you want to do. Next slide, please. But then I also learned that self-esteem also connects with mental well-being. So I will give you a brief definition of what is mental well-being. Mental well-being is actually our emotion, our thoughts, our mind, our well-being. It can increase, it can decrease, and how can we adapt to challenges? It is the feeling that we are able to learn, to connect, to cope with challenges, and just to enjoy. But we also need to acknowledge that sometimes there will be difficult days, there will be challenges, there will be setbacks, but it's okay. It's part of life. And the most important thing is how do we move on from that? How do we get back up again? Next slide. So basically, how do we check in with ourselves? Usually, we need to identify 4 categories, which is our feelings, our emotions. This is not just with ourselves, but also with our friends. How can we know if they're facing difficulties? So this is the feeling. Are they sad? Do they mood change all the time? Their thoughts. Do they have short attention span? Do they always have negative thoughts? Feeling of hopelessness? Behavior? Loss of interest in doing anything? Frequent school absent? And physical health. Also, our mental health can affect our physical health. Do they have difficulty, or do we have difficulty sleeping? Do we change our habits in eating, or always unwell, or we just want to disconnect from society? So this is the things that we can identify as a checkup. Next slide. So how do we handle these setbacks? Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. So here are some coping strategies that I discovered, and also from talking to my friends, they also agree that these are the things that help them cope with when they're feeling down. So first of all, is to accept that feeling anxious is normal. Everyone has emotion, has feelings. You just have to find the things that you are interested in, the things that make you happy. Be with the friends, be with someone you're close with, talk to them. And if you don't want to talk to friends, it's also okay. You can also spend time talking with yourself, being with yourself, accepting that there are days that you just want to disconnect with the society. You just want to be with yourself and accept your feeling. And most importantly, just be kind. Be kind. Not just to the one surrounding you, but also be kind to yourself as well. Next slide. So positive values can support mental well-being. For instance, kindness, honesty, respect, and most importantly, empathy. We don't know what's going on through someone's mind. So the most we can do is spreading out the kindness, respect, and also giving empathy. And throughout my experience volunteering, my experience doing community service, community work, I wanted to create a positive change for my community. So that's why I decided to strive to the next step, which is I founded my own initiative. Next slide, please. So this is my initiative that I created with my friends. We decided to write proposal for small grants, and we did a small project. So my initiative is called Resilience Laos, which means building resilience leaders of Laos. So actually resilience is, I like the meaning of resilience. It's like when you fall down, it's okay to fall down, but you have to get back up again. That's the meaning of resilience. So what we do is we provide knowledge of mental resilience, but we figure that learning in classroom can sometimes be boring. So we do lots of activities. We went site visits to counseling center. We do school outreach. We, beside just writing and speaking, we also do art therapy, expressing emotion through arts. We also do photography contests, because sometimes people they don't like to write a long message, so they can just tell a story through the lens of the camera. And we also do dance class. Sometimes dance can help relieve stress. So we do lots of creative activities. So me and my friends call these activities youth creativity and well-being. So we did a lot of activity throughout a 6-month span, reaching lots of youth and lots of community. And what I'm most proud of is that the participant, after they join my initiative, they went back to their community to do their own initiative in school, in their communities, in with their friends. So it's like a rifle effect. What I give to them, they spread the kindness. So it's something really makes me proud. Next slide. So throughout my experience, it allows me to join lots of exchange programs, participating in a lot of sharing session. Even though I'm not a good speaker, I'm not a confident speaker, but I accept that sometimes you don't have to be a good speaker to be a good communicator. So it what truly matter is you're willing to do it. You're willing to spread the positivity, to share what you want to share to your friends and to the others. This is what's important. So because of the day that I decided to step out of my comfort zone, it allows me to unlock a lot of opportunities and explore lots of opportunity. Yeah, next slide. So what I'm doing right now. So right now, as I mentioned, I'm about to graduate university. Now I also work with a local civil society organization, which work focus on education, youth empowerment, community development, and climate change adaptation and mitigation. So now I'm always traveling. I always travel to rural communities, to underprivileged communities, to do community service, to teach, to work with youth, work with students. So this is what I do to improve our community, to improve my country. And then this year I was nominated as the first GPA youth leader from Laos, which is a privilege for me because it also comes with pressure because I'm the first from Laos, but because my work revolves around youth empowerment, education, and community service, I think I feel like I'm the right fit, and I believe that the one who elected me has faith in me. So I'm trying to do my best to fulfill this role. So this is what I'm doing now. Next slide. Next, this is the same. So I want to end my session today with some key takeaway that I learned today. Is that I learned that confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from accepting who I am. And also, don't worry about failure. Worry about the chances you miss when you don't even try. Because if that day I don't even try to step up on stage, who knows where will I be today? And also, as you can see, I join a lot of exchange program, but sometimes I also fail. I don't receive the scholarship, but that doesn't stop me from trying again because I don't want to miss the chances. So these are the two takeaways that okay, and also there's also one last key takeaway, which is next slide. Lastly, as a youth, every small positive choices we make, how we treat ourselves and others can help create a kinder community and a better future. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. And okay, thank you so much for the organizing committee for inviting me to become a youth speaker today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sirisan, for that meaningful sharing on positive values and mental well-being. So at this juncture, we now move to part 4 of our webinar, where we will hear another youth perspective, this time from the Philippines. It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Natalie Pareñas, a first-year university student and class president at Colegio ng Subic, Philippines. She is also a young rugby coach with Pasitac Philippines under the Philippine Rugby Football Union. Everyone, let us give a warm virtual welcome to Ms. Natalie Pareñas.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to each and everyone. Thank you for having me. Do you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So now, again, good morning, a pleasant morning, afternoon, and evening to each and everyone. Okay. Some people can say they can hear me properly. Are you guys can hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So, again, I am Natalie Jane Pareñas, a student, a community leader, a young coach of Pasitbag in Olongapo City, Philippines, rugby under the Philippine Rugby Football Union. So now, let's start my speech. Okay, so when young people heard the word leadership, I think many of us imagine someone older, more experienced, or more accomplished. We picture someone standing in front of a room, giving instructions, making decisions, or holding an important positions. By my experience as a young T1 rugby coach has taught me something very different. Leadership does not begin when you become an adult. It does not begin when someone gives you a title. And it certainly does not begin when you finally feel ready. Leadership begins when someone simply gives you a chance. My name again is Natalie Jane Pareñas. I am 17 years old and I am a Pass It Back coach in Olongapo, Philippines. I work with young people through rugby. But what I do is so much more than teaching sports. Through Pass It Back and T1 Rugby, I have the opportunity to help the young people build confidence, learn life skills, understand the importance of teamwork and respect, and discover that they have the voice that matters. And that is why the topic of leading by example is very personal to me. I am not speaking to you today as someone who has everything figured out. I am speaking as someone who was once a young person who wasn't sure she belonged in sports, who was told that she didn't look like a coach, and who had learned through experience that leadership is not about how you look, how old are you, and how athletic you appear. It is about what you choose to do with the opportunity you are given. So next slide, please. Thank you. My rugby journey actually started because I love teaching young people, not because I love sports. In fact, I had no sports background in very little interest in athletics. When our community development officer, Ms. Rovina Santos, approaches my father looking for a girls age 16 and above who love teaching young people, my first reaction was hesitation. Rugby has known in our community as rough sports, and my family had concerns about the cost, the risk, and whether I could really coach something I had never played before. But we had a conversation with our development officer, and that conversation changed my perspective. She explained that Pass It Back wasn't simply about learning how to play rugby. It was about teaching life skills, values, leadership, and community. Suddenly, I realized that maybe I didn't need to be sporty person to have the place in sports. Maybe the things I already knew how to do, teach, listen, guide, connect with people, were exactly what I could bring to the program. That was the moment I decided to take the opportunity. Then I attended the 5-day coaching training in Talisay City, Negros Occidental. At the beginning, I was still wondering whether I really belonged there. I was a student. I had no sports background. I was learning completely new game. But the end of those 5 days, I understood something that has stayed with me ever since. Sports is so much more than the sport itself. Rugby gave me a way to bring people together through play. But pass it back gave that experience deeper purpose. It gave me a way to talk about confidence, leadership, teamwork, and how we treat people around us. And when I returned to my community and I stood in front of young people in my very first training session, I realized that I was no longer just someone learning rugby. I was someone other young people were looking to. That was a powerful feeling. I remember standing there thinking about how strange it was that I had once questioned whether I belong in sports. And now I was the person holding the whistle and teaching others. And I think that is one of the most important lessons that I can share with young people today. You don't always have to see yourself as a leader before you become one. Sometimes you become a leader because you are willing to step forward when an opportunity comes. Okay, next, please. Okay, so for me, rugby is a powerful because it creates a space where young people can learn by actually doing. T1 rugby is a non-contact format that is designed to be accessible and welcoming. But what makes it especially meaningful in the passive back setting is what happened around the game. When we are training, I'm not only watching whether a player can pass the ball correctly or understand where to move on the field. I am watching whether a player is beginning to communicate. I am watching to see whether someone who was quiet at the beginning is starting to speak. And I am watching whether teammates are helping and each other. And I am watching how player responds when someone makes a mistakes. Because those moments tells us something about leadership. A player doesn't need to be the best athlete on the field to be a leader. She might be the person who encouraged someone after a missed pass. She might be the person who notices that a player is standing alone and invites her into the group. She might be the person who speaks up when something isn't fair. She might be the person who takes responsibility after making a mistake instead of blaming someone else. Those are leadership skills. And the beautiful thing about sports is that young people don't just sit in a classroom and hear someone explains these values. They experience them. They make decisions. They communicate. They work together. They make mistakes and they solve problems then try again. That is why I believe T1 Rugby can be such a powerful platform for youth leadership. It gives young people a place to practice leadership in real time. I know this because I experienced it myself. When I first started coaching, I didn't think I am going to be a leader. I was simply someone who had given an opportunity. But once I was trusted with the responsibility, I had learned how to use it. I had to speak confidently in front of the players. I had to make decisions. I had to manage different personalities. I had to deal with disagreements and decisions. And sometimes I had to stand up for someone when it could have been easier to stay quiet. That is where leadership grew, not from the title, but from responsibility. Of course, being a youth leader is not always easy. One of the biggest challenges I have faced as a coach is being judged because of my age and because I didn't fit the people's idea of what coach should look like. There were people who thought I was too young. Some questions whether I was physically fit enough. Other questions whether I was sporty enough. And when you hear those things repeatedly, it can be very easy to start questioning yourself. You start wondering, maybe they are right. Maybe I don't belong here. But eventually, I realized something important. Other people's expectations do not have to become your limitations. It didn't need to prove like a traditional coach. I need to prove that I care about my players. I need to show that I was willing to learn. I need to prove. I need to take the responsibility for the people I was coaching and live out the values I was asking them to practice. And that experience changed the way I coach. I know what it feels like to be judged before someone knows your story. So, when I see a young player who is shy, nervous, inexperienced, or unsure of herself, I try to remember how important it can be to have just someone person say, I believe you can do this. That brings me to one moment in my coaching journey I will never forget. There was the one player in particular who barely spoke, hardly interact with others, and was very shy. But one day, to my surprise, she came up to me and asked, Coach, have you ever tried being quiet or being afraid of what others might say about you? All the criticism I had faced came rushing back. How people said I was not physically fit enough, or that I didn't fit the image of a coach. So, I told her my story. I shared the challenges I had faced and how people had judged me because of my physical appearance. As the time went by, I continued talking to her and observing her actions. Slowly, I noticed that she started to communicate and interact with other people. And then, one time, she approached me again and said, Coach, thank you for sharing that. Because of you, I am no longer afraid to be myself. I am no longer afraid what others will say. You are right. Who you are is not defined by what they see on the outside. It is defined by your purpose. That experience reminded me that sometimes we don't realize how much our own story can help someone else. I had thought that I was simply telling her about something I had gone through, but for her, it became the proof that she wasn't alone. And that is another form of leadership. I think we sometimes overlook sharing our experiences so that other people feel less alone. You don't have to have a perfect story. You don't have to overcome everything. Sometimes simply saying, I've been through something similar and I understand, can give another person the courage to keep going. That is why I believe that when we talk about young people creating change, we shouldn't always focus on big movements or dramatic achievements. Change often starts with very small actions. It can start when a coach notices that one player has become unusually quiet. It can start when a teammate decided to include someone who is being left out. It can start when someone says, that's not okay when other person is being bullied. It can start when someone chooses to listen instead of judging. And sometimes those small actions create changes that you don't see immediately. I experienced this very clearly when I was once was I have a LGBTQA plus player was mocked and excluded during training. People were shouting cruel things about her identity, and I watched her confidence disappear. She became embarrassed to practice. She pulled away from the drills and no longer felt comfortable being part of the team. As a coach, I could have simply continued the training sessions and hope the situation could pass. But that but that would not have been consistent with Pass It Back teaches us. If we say that everyone belongs, then we have to act when someone is made to feel that they don't. So I spoke to the people who were mocking her. I explained why their behavior was harmful and why our team needed to be a place where everyone was respected. Then I spoke to my player. I wanted her to know that what had happened was not her fault, that she had every right to be there. That moment taught me something I carry with me every time I coach. Sometimes leadership means using your voice for someone who doesn't feel strong enough to use their voices. Not everyone has the confidence to speak up. Not everyone feels safe enough to defend themselves. And not everyone knows that they deserve to be treated with respect. Sometimes they need someone to stand beside them first. That doesn't mean speaking other than taking away their voices. It means helping create the conditions where they can eventually find their own. And that is what I want rugby to be for the young people I work with. I want them to continue to training and feel that they are belong. I want girls to know that sports is for them. I want young people to have never played sports before to understand that they don't need to be athletic to participate. I want LGBTQIA plus young people to know that they deserve the same opportunity to play, learn, and lead as anyone else. And I want every young person to leave the field feeling a little very confident than where they alive, than where arrive, sorry. The most important thing about this work is that the lessons don't end when a training ends. If a player learns teamwork on the rugby field, that teamwork can go home with her. If she learns how to communicate during game, she can use that communication in school. If she learns to speak up when something is wrong, she can use that courage in her community. If she learns to respect someone who is different from her, that can change the way she treats people everywhere else. This is why I often says that I want to grow people first and player second. Of course, I want my players to learn rugby. I want them to understand the game, develop their skills, work together, and enjoy competing. But if at the end of the sessions, they're also kinder, more confident, more respectful, and more willing to look out for one another, then I know we had achieved something much bigger than what happened on the field. That is the kind of impact I wanted to create as a coach. And it is also why I believe young people should be trusted with real responsibility. Sometimes adults tells young people, you are leaders of tomorrows. I don't always agree with that. We are not only the leaders of tomorrow. We can be leaders today. We can lead our teams today. We can lead in our schools today. We can contribute to our communities today. We can create safer and more inclusive spaces today. We just need opportunities to do it. When I think about my journey, it's quite surprising to me how I was changed. I started as a young person who had never been really interested in sport. I became a coach. I faced people who doubted me because of my age and my appearance. I learned to stand up for myself, and I had learned to stand up for my players. And somewhere along the way, I realized that being a coach wasn't simply about teaching rugby. It was about helping young people understand their own values. That is the kind of leader I want to continue becoming. I want to be a leader who leads with the heart, inclusion, and service. I want to keep mentoring young people and supporting new coaches. I want to help more girls and young people from different backgrounds see rugby as a space where they belong. And I want to help change the people in my community see rugby, not simply a thought sports, but as a platform for education, confidence, leadership, and community. I want more young people to have the experience I had, being given an opportunity before they felt completely ready, and discovering through that opportunity that they were capable of much more than they thought. So, if there's one thing I want everyone to remember, it is this: don't wait until you feel ready to lead. Don't wait until you were older. Don't wait until someone gives you a title. Don't wait until you have a perfect idea. Start where you are. If you see someone being left out, include them until you have include them. If something is wrong, speak up. If you have an idea that could help your community, start small. If you have the skills, share it with someone else. And if you make a mistakes, learn from it and keep going. Because leadership is not always big movement. Sometimes it's it is one player helping another player back to her feet. Sometimes it's a coach taking the time to listen. Sometimes it's a young person finding the courage to speak. Sometimes it's simply saying, "You belong here." Those moments may seem small, but they can still stay with people for years. I know because I have seen it and didn't happen on my player. And I know because it happened to me. Someone gave me a chance to coach a sports I knew almost nothing about. That opportunity changed the way I saw myself. And now I had the opportunity to pass the confidence with that sense of purpose onto someone else. That is what pass it back means to me. It isn't only about passing a rugby ball. It is about passing knowledge, confidence, opportunity, and leadership. Someone believed in me, and I know I have to take responsibility to believe in someone else. And hopefully, that person will want do the same to another young person. That is how change grows. One coach, one player, one conversation, one small actions at a time. So don't underestimate what you can do simply because you are young. You don't have to change the whole world today. Just make your part of a little better and then help someone else to do the same. Because leadership doesn't begin when someone finally decides you are ready. Leadership begins when you decided to step forward. So I hope you learned something about my speech. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, we can answer it later, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you very much, friends, for your appreciation and your all the hearts and all the applause. Thank you. Passing on to the next part, Tatira.
Thank you again to Mr. Sirisai Wong Sampan from Lao PDR and Miss Natalie Pareyas from the Philippines, our youth leaders today, for sharing your thoughts and experience toward our topic, youth leading youth, promoting global citizenship, positive value, and mental well-being. Everyone, please, and also thank you for all the speakers. Everyone, please keep the emoji for applause and thankful for them, please. Thank you so much. So we have come to at end of the webinar. This is the last session, closing reflection. Before I wrap up the webinar today, I would like to ask anyone if you have any quick questions or any comments. All right, so let's wrap up. I would like to ask all of you to type one word, describe how you feel about today's webinar. Please use the QR code and scan it and share what you thought about our talk today. Inspired, honor, worthwhile, pleased, informative, great, slay, wow, worthwhile, thank you, empowering, ambitious, good, moving, great, educated, wow, memorable, yeah, amazing, wonderful. Okay, thank you so much. I think that's all positive feedback. Thank you so much. As one of the GCED-SEP trainers who run this activity, I feel so grateful and appreciate your positive feelings. So thank you so much. Could you please, next slide, please. So before we end the webinar, I would like to tell you, I would like you to remember that real leadership does not begin when you're getting older. You all are youth, you all are young, you can start it now. Because real leadership does not begin when you're old. Age doesn't matter. It's begin the moment you choose the kindness, the responsibility, courage, respect, empathy, hope, and every positive values. Every small positive action matters. You don't know, it can inspire someone else to make a good move. And that small good move is to make our school stronger, our community healthier, and our world better. So as a world citizenship, the global citizenship, let's do a good thing from now on. I know many of you have started already. So keep moving it, keep doing it. And someone who think, oh, it's just small thing, I don't have to do it. From now on, after this seminar, this webinar, we can change our mind. So let's do the good thing together. Lastly, may I ask all of you to take a virtual group photo together again, if you don't mind. Anyone who convenient to turn on video, please show your camera. Kun Wook, please help taking photo, please. And I would like you to do some gesture. Maybe the first picture is thumb up. Everyone, please make a thumb up. Yes. Kun Wook, please help capture picture,ค่ะ.
Okay,ค่ะ, we are capturing.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Can I have another one with a heart?
What first shot?
Yes.
Okay, another shot.
Another shot with a heart. Maybe with two hands or mini heart.
Okay, done.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we are done with taking photos.
Okay, thank you, Kun Wook. And thank you, every participants. Thank you, every speakers who joined our webinar today. I think we still have like a few minutes more. Anyone has a questions or any comments? Or any speakers who want to say something?
Can we have someone from GCED-SEP? There are
Yes,
many
please.
of them. Gwen, are you ready to speak?
I don't have any questions, but this webinar was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Anyone want to say anything? We still have like a little few minutes more. Okay. I think it's
Hello,
yes,
can you hear?
yes. We heard it.
Hello, Hello? Hello?
Hello. Yes, we all can hear you.
Thank you, love.
Hello, thank you. We are from Listening School. Your presentation really motivated us and it really inspired us and it gave me the courage to speak today here in front of you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. So I think we come to an end of the webinar. Thank you so much, every participant from many countries in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Laos, the Philippines, Cambodia, China, Bhutan, and other countries that I don't mention. Thank you so much. We have a good experience together today, and hopefully that we can have a good webinar like this again in the future. Thank you so much. ขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you from Thailand. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
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 everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Again.
Ano tapos na, anak? Bibi.
Bye.
Can I use it again?
Enjoy the lesson. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you.